Ha-Joon Chang is an economist at Cambridge, and he's written a book, 23 Things They Don't Tell You About Capitalism. So Ha-Joon, the eurozone, if it collapsed, is that going to be a problem?
Well, I think there will be big transition costs, but in the long run, it might be better for some of these peripheral European economies like Greece and Ireland if they actually pulled out of the currency union. A lot of people think this will completely destroy these economies, but take the case of Argentina, which throughout the late 80s and early 90s had a unilateral monetary union with the United States because they adopted this currency board system and completely pegged their currency to the US dollar. And in the latter half of the 90s, when it got into economic trouble, it tried to solve this problem by implementing the kind of austerity program that you see in Greece and Ireland today. And it tried for like 3-4 years. In the end, it couldn't sustain it. And it defaulted on its foreign debts and pulled out of this unilateral currency union by depegging the currency. A lot of people thought this would be the end of Argentina, but in the last 7-8 years, Argentina has been the fastest growing Latin American economy within Europe even today. Why is Iceland recovering better than Ireland or Greece? Because it is able to devalue its currency because it hasn't joined the monetary union.
And what about the impact on the global economy of the eurozone collapsing? I mean, the weekend we had the White House telling Europe to get its act together. There's clearly a lot of anxiety in America about the wider repercussions of a eurozone collapse.
Yes, since the international financial system is so interdependent these days, this will have impacts far beyond the European continent. But let's face it, the whole design of this monetary union was flawed. They had a lot of countries at very different levels of the economic development and different economic structure, which already makes a single monetary policy very difficult.
Turning to Britain, we've heard a lot about banking reform this week. Do the reforms go far enough, fast enough?
The problem is that much deeper than separation of investment banking from commercial banking. Just to give one example, think about all these exotic financial instruments that have caused such havoc to the global financial system. Are we doing anything to regulate them? No, we are not. On the excuse that the financial system has become too complex to regulate. But my answer is, well, if it has become too complex, make it simpler. Ban some of these instruments, put restrictions on some other instruments, and so on, so that we can actually deal with the complexity of the system.
The biggest debate in Britain around the economy is growth. And that's going to keep on being a big issue until there's some signs that the economy is recovering. How do you do it? It's also completely, it seems, open for discussion. Nobody's quite sure.
In the short run, it is important to maintain the fiscal expansion. But in the longer run, I would say the spending strategy has to be more geared towards long-term growth, because in the short run, deficit spending can create demand. But it only really creates the space to restructure the economy and generate more viable longer-term growth. It doesn't solve the growth problem. So you need to think more carefully about industrial strategy. How are you going to restructure the British economy away from the financial sector?
There's a lot of discussion about rebalancing. That's not a word you use, is it? You prefer reining in.
Yes, because a lot of decline of the British manufacturing industry is due to the excesses in the city. The city in the last 20 years has expanded hugely. It has basically put a lot of pressure on manufacturing companies because it pushes for short-term profit, which makes it difficult for companies to invest in long-term things like research and training. It saps the capable scientists and engineers away from the manufacturing industry because, in the city, a lot of people have science degrees, because it pays so well. They don't see the point of becoming a corporate research scientist or the engineer.
You've been talking to all the political parties in the last year. They've all been. What kinds of things have you been saying to them? Do any of them understand the urgency of an industrial policy such as you're describing?
I am afraid not, because they are still kind of in the grip of this idea that we have entered a post-industrial age and Britain is now a service economy, manufacturing is what only the Chinese do. But they have to wake up to this reality without regenerating at least some manufacturing industries. Britain's going to face a constant decline in its living standard. Before Thatcher, Britain ran manufacturing trade surplus equivalent to 4-5% of GDP. Now Britain runs manufacturing trade deficit equivalent to 4-5% of GDP. So that's the kind of shift we are talking about.
Thank you very much, Ha-Joon.
Thank you.